Welcome to the program. I'm Mark Imperial. This segment's being brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where entrepreneurs and professionals publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. We're doing a series of spotlights on remarkable people, places, and things around the country and even in your town. Joining me on this segment is Domonick Smith. He's a director, editor, and founder of Shooter Productions. Domonick, welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
Domonick, tell us a little bit about Shooter Productions and the type of work that you do.
Okay, yeah. So Shooter Productions is run individually by me. I end up outsourcing a few different editing gigs, but for the most part, it's just me running the company. Um, I end up getting hired as a vendor. So Shooter Productions is like the company that I work under. Like I end up paying myself. But I do directing. I've directed a number of different commercials, a bunch of personal projects, but for the most part, most of the income ends up coming through from video editing. I'm working on a Super Bowl spot right now. I've worked on Papa John's, Save a Lot, a few different like NFL commercials. I've worked on a few movies that have been in the theaters. So, I mean, like you name it, I've probably edited it. So,
Sounds like you do quite a variety of work there. Give us some examples. Tell us a little bit more about the people that hire you, the types of companies, and what are the projects that they're looking to get fulfilled, and what is your role in those projects?
okay. So, for the most part, I'm either the editor or I'm senior editor or I'm just post-production supervisor. So it's just the person who is on top of everyone who's running post-production, whether it's the editor, assistant editors, visual effects artists, like audio team, the post supervisor is the person who controls all of that. Some of the clients that I have, and it's funny because it's from, I could get my neighbor who wants like her son's like baseball video edited together, or I could get like an agency out in Philly called 160 over 90, and they're owned by one of the largest agencies in the world right now, called Endeavor. They would reach out and they'd want me to edit a Papa John's commercial. Or just recently, I produced a T-Mobile spot for the World Series. So honestly, it's such a bit like a range, and it's just because like I don't like to say no to anybody, and I usually like to make myself affordable for the people who couldn't usually afford me, just because I like to give back to my industry.
That's fascinating. How does someone in your line of work promote themselves, and how do they create that network? How do you get the jobs flowing in? How do people find you? Is it networking? Is it advertising? Give us a picture of what that industry looks like.
In the beginning, it was a lot of networking. It was assuring that I attended every event that I possibly could. I would always search Facebook and search like upcoming events within my area, within my industry, just to meet as many people as I could. And eventually it reached the point where it became word of mouth. And I would have a lot of clients just reaching out to me from referrals from another client. And then the other way that I end up landing jobs is just through social media. I'm very big on showing my process. I know a lot of people like to hide that stuff. They don't want people to like take away from it, but I've just noticed my audience loves to see the process. And that's another way I end up getting a lot of gigs is just I'll post on my story, like my Instagram story, Facebook story, Snapchat story. If like I'm editing for that day, I'll just like upload like a 15-second clip of just like what I'm editing, showing the timeline, just to constantly get people to see that I'm working and the types of things that I'm working on. Because once they see that you're working on a certain caliber of stuff, they want you to work on their stuff.
So as we tape this now, it's January of 2021, and we're just coming out of this never-ending pandemic, it seems. I just recently purchased our first set of movie tickets, which we're really excited to go back to this weekend. And this is like the first movie we're going to actually go see in a theater in the last like 10 months. So
Yeah.
super exciting. What people want to know is what is the industry look like during this whole pandemic? Are you seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, and how has it affected your business personally?
What's funny is I was actually just having a conversation with a friend of mine, and I don't talk a lot about 2020 just because for me personally, it was like one of the best years of my life financially. And it was specifically because everybody's at home, and like even though productions were shut down, they needed to find a way to reuse footage. They needed to find a way to create new content without shooting new content. So then that's where, if you worked in post production, you had a busy year last year, and it's just because like they need ads, they need people cutting stuff because everybody's either glued to their phones, their computers, their TVs because they don't have anything. Everybody's been in quarantine.
That's really interesting and great to know. What are the types? Yeah, like real estate. It was booming in 2020 for all the different opportunities and different reasons why people are moving in and out of different states, cities, for different reasons. Everybody's working from home now. Interesting and great to hear that you have a lot of work editing. Who are the types of companies? What variety of different ranges of companies? Is it commercials, sitcoms, programs? Who were
Wow.
calling you during this whole 2020?
Yeah, it was everything. I think the beginning of 2020, I landed a job with National Geographic, and I worked with them for about 4 months, and it was pretty amazing experience. And then after that contract ended, like right towards the end, I ended up landing a gig for editing a HBO pilot that they were running. Um, Man, and then after that, it was a mix between, like I said, the T-Mobile thing that I did for the World Series. I did a few like industrial videos, which are just like their internal videos for whatever company, like just depending on what the company is. Like if you get hired through a company and you guys watch a training video, I'm the guy who edited that training video. So the range is just like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it seems like it. And with more people at home and on their devices, the need for content is obviously increasing, and their ability to create new content is questionable. So what was the sentiment like? These companies when they called you, did you find they were wanting to were they needing new kind of content, reframing old content? What's kind of the what were the project briefings like?
Oh man, it was a lot of just finding a way. For example, National Geographics, we they brought me on. Um, we experienced the shutdown, and from there, they ended up sending all of us home. They sent us with hard drives, and they needed us to just like scour footage of things that they had shot before that they never used, and they were just trying to find ways to because they'll shoot hundreds of hours worth of footage, but you'll only see 30 minutes worth. So then it was our job to go through all of this footage and just find different story beats that we could piece together to put together the TV show. One of the shows was Secrets of the Zoo Tampa. There was a Secrets of the Zoo. Um, Man, I can't remember where the other one is, but there's three different Secrets of the Zoo that I worked on, and that's exactly what we had to do.
Fascinating. Domonick, tell us like what inspired you to get into filmmaking, directing, editing? How did you get started?
My mom bought me a camera, she bought me a digital camera when I was like 18. Didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something within arts, and I was always a sketcher. Like I was like big at like drawing, and I was convinced I was going to be a comic book artist. And as I graduated, that kind of fell through. And then I jumped into photography, ended up jumping into music for a little bit, and then eventually it hit the point where I realized like I just want to involve all of these things. I want to put all these things together, and then light bulb went off. And it was film. Like film incorporates all of those things, and that's how I got into it. Around 2010, I moved to Florida, went to a film school at the Art Institute of Tampa, graduated 2014, and just never stopped running since then.
This is terrific and congratulations. You very few people get to actually land a career and be successful in the thing that they actually love and have a passion about. So, congratulations for finding your thing and finding success in it. So, for folks like listening in and tuning in right now, if they want to connect with you, perhaps hire you for a project they're working on, or somebody that perhaps wants to just get to know a little bit more about you and your work, how do they find you and connect with you?
Okay, so on Twitter, you can find me at Who's Your Film Dad, and it's just kind of a play because like I'm a father first, a filmmaker second. Same with Instagram, it's Who's Your Film Daddy, and then on Facebook, it's Dom the Director. I'm working on unifying all of these three. It's just like tough because for Facebook, I have to like buy that name because someone owns it already. But yeah, Who's Your Film Daddy on Instagram, Who's Your Film Dad at Twitter, and then on Facebook, you can find me at Dom the Director.
Fantastic. Domonick, I really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with my audience today. Terrific story. Congratulations. And I wish you continued success for you and for all of your clients and your work.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Domonick Smith, director, editor, founder of Shooter Productions. This segment's been brought to you by booksgrowbusiness.com. It's the place where entrepreneurs and professionals publish to grow their businesses and to leave a legacy. That's all for this episode and this business spotlight. It's Mark Imperial, and thanks for tuning in. Take care.